Welcome to Cupcakes Bout Zeppelin. I was going to make, and still will, burgers bout Bonzo. So we'd eat burger, well, I'd eat burgers and we'd talk about Bonzo. You could reply here on the thing or you could just shout at the screen. But instead it's Cupcakes Bout Zeppelin. So the cupcakes I like to wolf down when I'm doing Cupcakes Bout Zeppelin are Hostess cupcakes. Suppose you get the, what's the Nancy Ray or Lucky Little Debbie or whatever. Get those too, but these are superior. Put them in the freezer for about 8 hours. Observe. There's nothing like. You know, since they reopened the Hostess factories, quality control, at least in this department's a little funky, but I'll tell you, they're still just delicious. Oh. Anyway. This is Bout Zeppelin. So Zeppelin. Isn't it great? I was thinking the other day, I know a guy, well, a dear friend of mine, is in a band with a fella, who's that band, well, the band he has or is in that started, opened up for Robert Plant. And, where was it? Milwaukee Fest or down at Pritzker Pavilion or somewhere. I was so jealous. But anyway, so here's the deal. What the hell are we talking about? Cupcakes Bout Zeppelin. The giveaway. The giveaway. Remember, keep putting your guesses. For you non-Americans, what happens, what we do in America, and I know this sounds terrible, like, well, in America we speak it. It's not like that. But I'm just saying, for the print, so I can judge appropriately your date. And I am American. And I'm used to the format of month, day, year. So for example, you'd go like March 03, 11th, 1-1, and then a 4-digit year, okay? A lot of folks, English folks and other folks are like 28/8/1969 instead of 8/28, okay? Try to nail that down just in case, okay? I want to make sure, you know, it'd be easier if it's 28/8/69, but if it's like 7/5, I don't know if it's May 7th or July 5th. Anywho, but yeah, burgers bout, cupcakes bout Zeppelin. You guys got to check out Mr. Mojo Rising 1967. Please don't be disgusted by my Cupcakes Bout Zeppelin. You can get yourself cupcakes too. If you can't have a cupcake session with a fellow Zeppelinophile, everybody, you're not a true Zeppelinophile if you're disgusted by this or find this stupid. Then beat it, get off the channel. No, but Mr. Mojo 1967. This guy is on YouTube. And he plays in a Doors tribute band. And then a Led Zeppelin tribute band called Led Zepp again. And I thought I knew the drummer from that band. Am I thinking of a different band? Anyway, this fella, Mr. Mojo Rising 1967, and right now his name escapes me, I'm a rat. He does the bottom thing. He plays that, you know, typically they'll do like the song remains the same kind of thing, I think. He nails it. Because a lot of people will nail kind of the chops, like the fills or the quick triplets, but they don't nail the feel. Like, I think I do a pretty good job. If I really want to, I can really nail the, like, if I play with the band, I can really nail a lot of it. A lot. Not near, I mean, I might be able to do, I could give a reasonable facsimile to 85% of people. I think that, wow, that really, really sounds a lot like Bout. But then again, the whole goal isn't necessarily to sound exactly like Bonham. In sort of a crazy way, I mean not crazy, but totally obsessive compulsive way it would be. I know there was a time when I was growing up I was so Bonhamified. Anyway, we have more cupcakes, Bout Zeppelin. I usually just do 3 though. But I have to give these up. Occasionally I just go on a cupcake binge. But I gotta come down from about 206. Anyway, so here's the deal. I think I do a pretty good job as Zeppelin. I think sometimes it's hard here because, you know, the drums, it doesn't really sound like it. You know, also too, I'm talking and, you know, but I think if you saw me play with the band, the musicians were like, if you can find somebody that played really like Jimmy Page, like could reproduce that sound, and John Paul Jones, like the style, and Plant really singing it. Actually, if you could get those other 3 guys, a whole ton of drummers would sound a lot more like Bonham. Because it's also, too, the context about the Zeppelin tribute band or any tribute band, all the musicians have to sort of have their shite together in who they're impersonating, right? You do. For the big cohesive sound. Okay. So Led Zeppelin again's really good. This fella, Mr. Mojo Rise in 1967, check it out. Of course, I've been going on and on about it'd be great if Jimmy Page could write a book or something with a bunch of pictures about, you know, the whole Led Zeppelin thing, but the really technical angle. Like how many takes of this or blah, blah, blah did they splice together. Cobbled. Wouldn't that be great? Like, here's the thing. And I'm just being frank. Seriously. This is how I feel about it. Wouldn't it be great to us diehard Zeppelin people? I mean, you really want, whether you want to admit it or not, you'd love to read, like, an article. Tracking Stairway to Heaven. I mean, you can kind of find that. You can find, like, in interviews to say, well, they went to Island Studio and Bonham set up in the room. Jimmy Page played the acoustic the whole time. And John Paul Jones played keyboard for the basic track, and they went back. I'm talking about specifically. How many takes did they do to get that basic track? Did they keep John Paul Jones' bass line the whole time? Well, organ part. Well, what the hell would he have played? Yeah, he would have played probably a Hammond or something. Yeah, because I guess that's how he'd do it, right? I mean, you have to get the basic track with the 3 people just sitting there, right? And I think John Paul Jones would have been playing the keyboard he played, and overdub the bass. But anywho, but wouldn't it be great to know that? Well, they did a bunch, and you know, John Paul Jones kept his whole bass track on that. What year is what he did with their second pass after he did the organ part, or if in fact it is Robert Plant. Here's the thing: at the end of Jamaica, I meant the crunch. Where's that confounded bridge? I am convinced that is John Bonham. A, because it really sounds like him if you hear certain... Well, I shouldn't say if you hear certain... I'm basing it out when there's an interview. There's a nasally interview of him like 1970 or 71. He's really got his shite together and he's, you know, he's really earnest. But when you listen to Where's That Confounded Bridge, I really think that on the end of Jamaica... Again, I meant the crunch. That's all Robert Plant. Have you seen the bridge? I mean, obviously there's Plant. But where's that confounded bridge? You know what would be great? It'd be great if Plant or somebody spoke up and said, for the love of God, it is Plant. But at least we'd start getting answers out of Zeppelin. We're getting information. Even though it's sort of like a Howard Stern-y kind of maybe obnoxious way it looks like. I don't mean it to. But, back to a way I really feel. I do think that Where's That Confounded Bridge is Bonham. Because I remember also reading in a book, or an art, well, it was a book, where they said, well, yeah, when they were doing blah, 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 Bonham and Page, I meant Plant and Bonham, went back in and did something at the end of, I thought it said the crunch, or to put some talking or something on one of the songs, like it was it didn't maybe necessarily mention the crunch, but I don't think the Where's the Confounded Bridge, I do think that's Bonham. So, remember, here we are, Cupcakes and Bout Zeppelin. Well, keep the guesses coming in on the snare drum. You know, at this point, I changed the writing in the video. I said you can just write it in the comments, whatever. But again, the format. 826, whatever, not 26.8. Okay, well, that book talked about, what else? Oh, I know what I wanted to talk about. Well, yeah, talked about Mr. Mojo Rise from 1967. And again, though, what I really want to say is really thank you so much for liking my videos. Again, this is kind of like an actual sit-down, like in the TV show Zoom, they used to have rap. Well, you know, they didn't like rap as we know it today, but they talk. Like, let's rap about stuff. Like, that was like the term for like just talking. That's what we're doing here. Just a chit-chat. Alright, so what else? Oh, I know what I wanted to say. One last thing. Again, as far as the book's concerned, I have a lot of specific questions, I'm sure, as we all do. Like, you know, did this one get slowed down? Did this one speed it up? If you did slow this one down, is the bass and the guitars, did you detune and play to it, record to it slow? Or did you play regular and then when you detune the whole thing, the tape, blah, blah, blah? But specifically, in the Zeppelin, what had just come out, the companion discs, you can hear Over the Hills Far Away. And what sounds like the actual studio take all the way through. By me. First is this. In the companion disc, alternate mix, it sounds like in that part he's going. Sorry, not the second one, but the quick one. Like he does at Madison Square Garden on the new song. I mean, it's the same video that came out like 20 years ago where they added some stuff. The ocean at the end and stuff like that, encore or whatever. I'm done with these. But when you listen to that alternate take, it really sounds like not the long. You know what I mean? It's really. Tight like that, so I don't know how do they pan something in stereo. Listen to that. Listen to the companion of Over the Hills and Far Away, and then listen to the final recording. Again, I point out in the other video, it is neat. In the final recording, you hear on Houses of the Holy, you do hear that in that whole solo in the middle, they change the microphone pan to really the room of the drums. That, listen how roomy the drums sound. In that climb, that's where they bring the room mix back to the close mics. It's very interesting. But then right after that, here again, in the companion, I'm trying to spit out, is companion versus what we hear in the final. You know what I mean? That longer. It's versus. Anyway. So, but I'd love to get the answer to that. Just all kinds of wacky stuff like that. See pictures of them tracking this song or that. Better than the few shots are out there on that Eddie Kramer has when they were recording in Star Groves, or you know, some of that stuff again that resurfaced that black and white stuff. There's got to be more pictures, even video footage. Yeah, so for Zeppelin filed them. I just know that it would be terrific. I think it's a win-win for everybody. Page would sell tons of them, and we Zeppelinophiles, Bonham freaks, we'd get what we wanted. Everybody would win. So again, keep the submissions coming in. Remember, you get two separate submissions. Blah 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 1969, blah 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 1970. Okay, you get both, but also too. What some people are doing is I'm getting like 1968, 1973. Like just that. Well, if it was to get just the year, you know what I'm saying? So the full date, okay? Thank you for watching. I can't do the fourth cupcake Bout Zeppelin, so I think I'm going to burst. But thanks for watching. More videos on the way.